What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Westy's Angling. You're joining me on a frosty February morning today. One of my subscribers has given me an absolutely brilliant idea. He said, Westy, what's the minimum amount of kit that you can take method feeder fishing with you? So that's the video that we're going to be doing today. I've devised a minimalistic method feeder setup. You might not have access to a car and you just want to carry your stuff fishing or whatever, but this is going to be ideal. My dad's also brought a minimalistic setup with him, so I'm going to be talking you through the setup and the reasons why I've chose the kit that I've chose. So thanks very much, Des, for this idea, and I hope you all enjoy the video. So before I get my stuff out of the car, this is my dad's minimalistic setup. He's got a flask, essential, and he's just using one method feeder rod on the quiver tip, bait bucket, and just a bank stick with a rod rest on. Obviously net handle, important, landing mat as well, and just his rod carry-all. That's literally it. Pair of scissors, wafters, and he's got a disgorger in his pocket, fishing towel. So literally the bare minimum. He's already cast out. You're fishing over to that aerator, Dad?
Yeah, right. 6 foot to the left of it.
So he's fishing about 6 foot to the left of that aerator. It is freezing this morning. He's all wrapped up, he's got his gloves on and his hat and whatnot. But let's get my stuff out of the car and I'll show you my setup for today. Look at this, even the pegs are frozen today. So this is my full setup for today. I'm going to talk you through the full setup process and why I've chosen each individual item. My dad's setup is quite a bit lighter than mine. That's because he's fishing one rod on a quiver tip and I'm going to be fishing 2 rods on bite alarms. Now my dad's setup's even more minimalistic than mine, but I wanted to fish 2 rods today, so that's why I've brought this and the bite alarms. And I think that the bite alarms and the rod pod is actually more minimalistic than the feeder chair setup that I've got. So I've brought my light Nash normal fishing chair, Stanley flask, obviously essential, unhooking mat. I don't go anywhere without unhooking mat, so important for fish care. And I've just got this collapsible Corum net, landing net handle. And in my bait bucket here, I've got a few essentials that you need for method feeder fishing. So I've got my rig box, Westy's Angling fishing towel, pair of scissors, disgorger, really important, a couple of spare method feeders in case I get broke, and then I've just got some Bandom sinkers and Bandom wafters. That's all you need to take when you're method feeder fishing. If I had to choose, I would literally just take these Bandom wafters 8mm and I'll just fish the pink ones. So they're what we're going to be using as bait today. I've got a little bit of attractant, not essential, but I think it'll just give us a little bit of added boost today with it being so cold. And then Preston Innovations method feeder mold. I'm reusing bait today, as you know I like to do. I've got stuff that were frozen that I've just defrosted overnight in the car. So we're going to reuse that today. I'm not going to mix any fresh bait up. Ground bait and pellets freezes really well. You just have to add a touch of water to it and it's perfect. This is just a 50-50 mix of ground bait and pellets. There's a couple of different kinds there. There's a sweet variety. Bits of sweet corn in there as well. Look, let's get them out because we don't want to put too much feed in. Right, so that's us ready to go. I'm going to get my rods set up and together. They're already pre-set up in this carry bag, and I'll get my rod pod set up and we'll get fishing. But I think you'll agree that this is a pretty minimalistic way of doing things. It all folds down easily. You could put the rod pod in the back of the chair. If you had to get to a fishery via a bike, I'm sure that you could load all this onto a push bike if you needed to, or carry it to your local fishery if you needed to, for those of you without a car or transportation. Let's take you through the setup and then we'll get fishing. It's very compact, this Corum net. Folds right down. Brought my small landing net handle, not my big one. It's not the best place for bank sticks here, so that's another reason for me using a rod pod. You know that you're going to be good anywhere that you go fishing. Some places you literally just can't get bank sticks in anywhere, so it's always better to have a feeder chair or a rod pod, in my opinion. Everything's already attached, so it's just a matter of switching them on and they're good to go. Gotta be careful on this, otherwise I'll slip. This is a very light folding chair, this Nash one. So let's sit there. Let's see if this needs any water. Put a touch of water in that. Like I said, freezing it just dries it out a bit. Doesn't take much to revive it. This is Corum as well. These are great. It's a Corum EVA ground bait and riddle set. You know that I use this every session. Great bit of kit. Not affiliated with Corum in any way, shape or form. I just like some of their gear. Already got my rigs pre-made up. Tied some 14 banded hook lengths up. So it's just a case of putting these together. There are some decent carp in here, so I like using my specimen rods. As you know, my Grace Prodigy TX 1¼ test curve, and then Shimano 6000 DL reels. I've just got some banjo feeders here, 30g ones. Let's put our hook length on. Like I said, I always have everything pre-tied up in the bag, so I can literally get to the bank, film a bit of an intro and then get fishing. Again, 7-pound hook length, size 14. If you want to know how I tie up my method feeder hook links, I will put a video in the top right hand corner for you now. Push that in, secure the hook link in place. That's good to go. Okay, let's get this first rod out so at least we're fishing, and then we'll set up the second one. Bloody hell, I'm running out of pink wafters. I don't use the other flavours. That's mad. 100% got more confidence in the pink ones. Pink washed out wafters. Best bait going. It's perfect, that ground bait. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of attractant on the top. This is a boost. If there's any hungry carp nearby, it'll bring them in. It's a predominantly carp fishery, this. There's not many other species in, but the carp do feed year round. On mild days anyway, which it's definitely not today, but fingers crossed. So let's go to the right of this aerator. Sink that line. Oh, bit of a bleep already. I'm going to start both off on the wafters, and I'll try sinkers a little bit later on. Just got more confidence on the wafters, that's all. Perfect. And then I need to drop these rod tips down. I like my rod tips very close to the water's surface. I feel like you get the best line lay to the method feeder. So that'll be perfect, that. Simple as that. Quick easy setup and we're fishing. Got enough bait to last us probably 2 sessions there, so what I don't use I'll just refreeze. Got a freezer full of ground bait and pellets at the minute. Need to start using it rather than mixing fresh stuff up. Hope you agree, that's very minimalistic, but it's still an effective setup. Nice and easy, nice and fast, and not a massive amount of kit. No bags, no carry-alls, just the bare minimum. Now we just need to catch some fish. Now we have seen some fish topping today, which is a great sign. Wind's blowing into us here in this corner, more towards my dad's peg than mine, but always seem to do well here when the wind's blowing into you. Have you had any indications on the tip, Dad?
A couple of hooks on that cast. It could have been like a line or something.
Is that your second cast?
Yeah.
So I've had a couple of bleeps on the buzzers so far, which is a good sign. It means that fish are moving about in a swim. It can also mean that you need to bring your rods a little bit closer in, because if you're getting line bites further out, it means that the fish are catching the line closer in, if that makes sense. So it can help, if that starts happening frequently, to bring your rods in maybe 6 foot, 12 foot on the next cast. With the fish not moving around much at this time of year, you need to be pretty confident that you're on top of them. Dad's using some new Sonny Bates Haze Fluoro. Smell it. I wouldn't say almonds, I'd say...
Yeah.
I've just touched my nose with it. Oh, for God's sake. My nose is going to be pink. I think it'll warm up pretty quick now when that sun comes over them trees.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice day.
Enjoying it.
Fairly busy for a winter day, isn't it? 3 other people on.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be casting out every 40-45 minutes or so. What I usually do is I set a timer on my phone, and when that timer goes off I'll do a recast. Like I said, I'd be chuffed with 1 or 2 fish today. Pretty confident that we'll get something at some point. That sun's coming up now, so hopefully that starts warming the upper layers of the water up, and it just brings them on the feed a little bit. It's been a very tough winter this year fishing. I think it's been dramatically colder than it normally is in this country. We had quite a mild winter last year, and me and my dad was catching every single day that we went out through the winter, but we've had a couple of blanks this year, which is fairly unusual because we usually catch something. So let me know in the comments, for those of you that fish through the winter, have you found it a little bit more difficult in the UK this year, fishing? I'd be interested to know if it's just us that seems to think it's been quite tough. But spring's just around the corner. It's starting to warm up a little bit, so we can see light at the end of the tunnel, and we're definitely looking forward to the warmer months. We'll definitely be doing some more carping and catfishing this year, and we're going to continue with the fishery reviews on the channel, and we're going to be trying plenty of new places, so there's plenty to look forward to on the channel. Hopefully you want to stick around for the journey. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, now's your chance to do so. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell notification as well, so you don't miss any future videos. All different types of fishing on the channel, not just method feeder fishing. So there should be something for everybody. You might not want to watch every video, but there's definitely going to be something on there, and maybe you'll pick up a couple of tips and whatnot. Absolutely lovely day today, even though it's cold. Blue skies. Right folks, these have been in about 45 minutes. Let's do a recast. I'm going to have one a little bit further out and one a little bit closer in, and we'll just keep moving them around until we find out where the fish are. Those geese are loud, Canada geese. I always check my rig rubbers in the right place on the hook. For those of you that have started using these cheap banjo feeders like me, I was finding that these rubber inserts in the end were dropping out the method feeder. So the stems, if you just melt the end a little bit with a lighter, it just closes up the hole a tiny bit and makes these a little bit tighter. So that's what I've started doing, and they're absolutely perfect now. Can't go wrong for £1.50. Right, so this one I'm going to have closer in. I'm just going to underarm it. And then the other one I'm going to have further out. My dad's going to try fishing into that corner down there. There we go. So that's a little bit closer in. I always try and put one of my rod rings behind the bite alarm. Bait runner on. Take it easy. So this was closer in, not further out. On the pink wafter. Oh, lovely. Let's get that net wet. Well, at least we've saved the blank. So that was in probably coming up to half an hour. Nice winter mirror. I'm not putting too much pressure on it. I think there's a fish on that as well. I need to get this in. Oh, it's walking up now, this. Send me drag down. Oh, it's definitely fighting for this time of year. It's not giving up. Not giving up at all. Oh, this is where I lose it. Oh, we're in the net. Beautiful. Let's have a look at it. Oh yeah, it's a nice fish. Right, chunk, let's get it on the mat. Look at this beautiful winter mirror carp. It's a good £7, I reckon. Really thick, deep bodied fish. Look at that. What do you think, about £7? Let's get that. That's right, I needed the disgorger with it, it absolutely wolfed it down. Yeah? Yeah. Nice fish. Good bite. Right, let's get these rods back out. We'll stick with the pink wafters. In fact, seeing as we've had a fish now and I'm not going to blank, I might try these sinkers. So we'll put a sinker on one and a wafter on the other, shall we? So that fish was closer in, so we'll just flick this out again. It's about there. Quite a good cast. Now, a size 14, in my opinion, is probably a little bit small for a 10mm, but I'm sure we'll be fine without me putting a different hook link on. Chocolate orange does well here. Chocolate orange is a good flavour in general, to be honest. So again, I'm going to come a bit closer with this one too. It's just about patience at this time of year. You might only have a few fish all day, like I said. It's just leaving them in long enough, sitting on your hands and not messing about with things too much. Right, let's see if we can get another. Look like a tiny little bit of a drop back, doesn't it? Maybe something's feeding on the feeder. Oh, bit of a bleep on one of my buzzers there. Oh, it's all going on now. Hey, up he's in, like. It's coming in a bit quick to be any kind of size, isn't it? Take it easy though, because you never know here. They might not have woken up yet. Oh, it's a barbel. You sure? It's a thin one. Are you sure? No, it's really it's a really thin carp. Look at how thin it is. You can see why I thought it was a barbel. Wait till you see it.
Yeah, longer than
It's really long. Long and skinny. Look at it. Don't mean to unhook it. You hug it. Ah. It's lethal with this landing net. Look at how thin it is.
It's long, isn't it?
Yes, it's like a chub.
Yeah.
A tail as well. I honestly thought it was a barbel. Oh, scatty little thing, isn't it? Well, at least you've saved the blank dead.
I know.
Bright stuff, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I still think it smells a bit like
Almond.
I'm not particular. I'll say it's a smell.
So my dad was the same. We've made the right decision coming fishing this side of the lake today, because he said we both had a fish. I said, well, I've had a fish and you've had half a fish. It was proper scatty, that fish that he had. Got a fish on. Oh, it's come out. Ah, I knew it weren't a proper bite, that. I reckon that's because that sinker's a bit big. We've not got a good hook hold. It is a bit daft for the size of that hook, so let's put another wafter on. Damn it. See, when you're using too big of a hook bait against the hook, it can throw the hook bait out of the fish's mouth. Ah, damn. It is what it is. Let's try again. Learn from our mistakes. Do as I say, not as I do, and all that. Let's underarm it again, because that seems to be where the fish are. Just in line with that aerator or a bit closer. Oops. Balls. That was an awful cast. Again. Do as I say, not as I do. Let's leave it there though. Let's see if we get a fish close in. Well, it's a pretty tough day's fishing today, to be honest. We've only had them couple of fish. I have been getting indications on the bite alarms. A few twitches every now and again. My dad's having twitches on the rod tip as well. So the fish are actively moving about, they just don't seem to be feeding. But can't be expecting to be bagging up at this time of year, especially with a frosty morning like today. But we've got to keep at it. Probably got another hour or so of fishing left, and then we're going to call it a day. We've only come for about 5-6 hours fishing today. We're not doing a full day. Cast this miscast one. The reason I underarm in and don't overarm cast is the feeder hits the water a little bit lighter. It just stops everything coming off the method feeder. I'm still under the belief that a lot of the stuff comes off the method feeder when you're casting anyway, whether you're feathering your cast or not, unless you're dropping it in the margin. So let's, there we go, see, it's better. Oh no, it's raining. I've not packed my brolly. Meant to be travelling light. I didn't deem the brolly worthy in the minimal tackle. Didn't give rain for today, but it's raining. Welcome to England. Been keeping an eye on everybody else fishing on the lake, and nobody else seems to be doing much either. I haven't actually seen anybody else catch today. There's a guy in the corner who's fishing for silvers on the pole. He's had quite a few. Nobody else has had any carp out by the looks of it, apart from me and my dad. So it tells you that the techniques that we're using today are the right ones. And the main aim for today's video was just showing you how I would fish the method feeder using minimalistic kit if I only took the bare necessities out with me. So hopefully it's give you a good idea of that. So I just want to say I hope this short video has been helpful, and we look forward to seeing you next Westies Angling. Just about to pack up, and my dad's got the same ground bait bucket as me, but his is all shiny, new and clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip all my stuff into this new one and give him this old one back. Let's see if he notices. Look at mine compared to his. Mine's old and ragged. His is fresh. What?
I don't want that fucking minging thing. Catches his wings.